Looking pretty good. The customer wants gloss, but it's still a deep wood grain. I think we got a good balance there. See a few little splatters in the lacquer. See if I can sand those out. I'm gonna try starting with about 2400 grit in my little pad here. That works. .2400 grit seems to be working okay. I'm gradually getting those couple splatters. There's one down here, a couple over here. I think I'm seeing a little hair in there too. I need to sand that down. The very first layer I did with this was with brushing lacquer, self-leveling brushing lacquer, which was one way to go to build it up, but it took like days and days to dry, hanging outdoors in a screened-in porch in the heat, and it still had a long time. It was too slow for me, so I went to airbrushing after that, lighter coats. But I must have missed this one little hair that's in there. I think I can sand it out though. Okay, that seemed to take care of those couple imperfections. It dulled it up a little bit. I have to decide now whether I need to do another spray coat to smooth all that out, or whether I can polish it from here to the shine it had. That's the trick, I guess, with this stuff. I'm seeing one little dull spot up here around the neck where the spray might not have filled as much. I might as well do the whole thing with the 2400 grit and see if I can get it all equal, and then we'll see. The back is looking a little bit more brushy, but I'll hit it with the same 2400 grit and see where we're at. So I'm fairly new to spraying on with machinery rather than a spray can, as I've done in the past. This is the first time I'm using teak as well. It's a pretty deep grained wood. Beautiful. So a few new firsts here for me. This will be the first one with my new waterfall design for the Master Volume Control Cavity 2. I think I've successfully sanded out any weird spots. I'll have to remember in the future not to go for every drop in the airbrush bottle. There's a bottle hanging, it's the material. And don't go right to the very end because it can splatter, you know, and it gets inconsistent. Note to self. I'll get it. I noticed a few spots that looked a little spray-y. Not actually orange peel, but when the instrument's done, this part will be covered with the chin rest, this area will be covered with the tailpiece and the pickup stuff. So the most exposed areas will be over here that everybody will see, and up in this area. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, those were the most perfect. You want the whole thing to be perfect, but those would be the most visible when it's reassembled. And now it's decision time. Now that I dulled it up a little bit with that 2400 grit, do I keep going and try and polish it out, or do I actually put another coat on and try and get it re-glossy? I think I might as well keep going and see if I can get it back to that sheen it just had before I started sanding with finer grits yet. I got grits out to 12,000, and I can polish and stuff and buff. I think we're ready. And if it's not good enough, I can always go back and recoat it, right, with another coat and start over. I want to get this out the door. It's been months in the making. All right, moving on to 3200 grit. This is actually the first instrument I also used these embedded insert nuts for the covers. A little more of a premium aspect, I think. I see high-end guitars have that. Most makers just screw it into the wood, but there's not a whole lot of wood there. It's pretty thin. Trying to keep the weight down in these things. So I decided to try those. They weren't too expensive. You buy a bag of them, 1,000 of them for under $10, I think. So New stuff. All right, on to 3600. Definitely keeping an eye on the Outlaw Fiddle logo decal, as I did an earlier video how I did it incorrectly and got little bubbles underneath it, had to kind of peel it off and then fix the finish, and then a second attempt I got a wrinkle in it. It's not so easy to get those on, and I definitely don't want to do that again. And the same treatment with 4000 grit. Fun, huh? And now 6000, getting there. It's not as shiny as it was right after I airbrushed it. A little duller, but it still looks pretty good, and I think I might be able to polish it out to be as shiny as the airbrush, the Virgin airbrush. Let's hope so. Okay, it's looking better. No splatters, no hairs, and it's not as shiny, but now we're doing 8000 grits, so we're getting there. I only have one more level to 12,000, and these go fairly fast. There's not much that's doing, it's just buffing a little bit. I expect it not to be as shiny still as when it's first sprayed, but I think we can get that shine with compound polishes. I'm getting more and more confident. And on to the final 12,000 grit. Carefully over the decal. Around the corners are harder. Where it was inconsistent earlier now is consistent all the same. Again, not as shiny, but it's getting there. More wet. Hard to get around these corners. There. The edges a little bit. Top. Slip sliding away and sticking to it. It's a good sign. Got some suction. And the back. This is pretty boring stuff. So I cut in and out. But after I get going on into the groove of it, it's kind of meditative in a way. Sometimes other thoughts will come in, places I've been. Today what's popping into my head is Mount Shasta in California. I visited there last year when I was out visiting my son and grandson. And maybe it's speaking to me a little bit. It's kind of a beautiful, tall, snow-capped mountain. Some say aliens live inside it. Could be. It's a spiritual mecca for a lot of people. It's definitely beautiful. Maybe I'm supposed to go back there and visit. It might be calling to me. Let's see. How's this looking? No water spots off it. Fresher towel. Okay. Consistent. Slightly dull. That's the idea. Consistency was the most important, which we can polish out from there. Come along beautifully. I like it. Moving forward. Finally.